Connor, I'm sorry, okay?
Why?
I'm sorry that I hate the show so much I had to cancel.
Is it because you hate it or you didn't have time?
Well, it's because I didn't have time, but I thought you
Is it
wanted to
both?
play on the fact that I hate it.
Well, it's both. We'll say it was both.
Sure, why not?
Well, I tweeted about it because you tweeted on that's at 50doctor on Twitter.
Yeah.
You tweeted about it, and then I retweeted it and said send all hate messages to Greeny Pro. And you didn't get one, so there you go.
I didn't get one. So that either means that people respect my decision, or no one
No
listened.
one saw it. Yeah. Happy days.
I'm going to go with that people respect my decision.
Yeah. I totally agree. That's literally the one I would pick too.
Yeah. But yeah, look, sorry to the listeners if you're expecting a show on Thursday. I am literally in the very last few weeks of my degree, and I was absolutely fucked. And I looked at the schedule and was like, look, won't be the worst thing in the world if we push that back by a few days. So that's what happened there. But now you have it. We just built the hype for the season 3 finale even more, right?
Yeah, exactly. I literally watched
Big
this episode like 2 weeks ago. So it's been a while,
Yeah.
and I was like finally going to talk about it, which is nice.
I watched it about a week ago. So about a
Week ago!
God, we're so cringe.
Ha ha ha
No wonder no one listens.
Ha 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 ha.
But yeah, look. Look, I promise mine and Connor's Christmas extravaganza, which we're filming extravaganza,
Yeah.
extravaganza, which we're filming in a few days. We'll make up for it. We'll make it super fun, and we'll make this finale real fun, won't we, Connor?
Yeah, that's why I'm cracking this open. And pouring myself a glass of aged Jameson. I think it's like
Very
12,
nice.
I don't know, 12 years. 12 years
I myself am celebrating the finale with a glass of Canadian Club. I've already had a few of these, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, sorry, a girl just texted me on my phone and it fell. Alright, I'm good.
Cute.
I'm ready to go. I'm excited to watch review this episode.
Here come the drums, here come the drums. Hey there, baby, woo! And supernatural.
Hey, I love that Voodoo Child.
It's great. I started listening to I Can't Decide Whether You Should Live or Die.
I have
You'll
such
probably go
a
to
crazy
heaven.
thing to say about that kind of stuff when we get into it, because you're about to go to school with something with the Stan version of, not even just Stan, it was on Netflix as well, but when we get there I'll talk about it.
Interesting.
It really is interesting, and the only reason I know this is because I used to obviously watch these episodes on like DVD and Blu-ray and stuff. But yeah, you'll find it interesting. That's all.
If you didn't get from that conversation, today we are talking about the epic season 3 finale, The Sound of the Drums, and the last of the Time Lords. Connor, for the very last time this season, shall we go into our epic rap theme song?
Press that sting, Aiden.
You are pressing it.
50% podcast. Boom.
So, The Sound of the Drums is the 12th episode of the 3rd series of the revived British television science fiction television, I read that wrong, series Doctor Who. It was broadcast on BBC One on the 23rd of June 2007. It is the second of 3 episodes that formed a linked narrative following Utopia and followed by the last of the Time Lords. In the episode set in the 21st century, the alien time traveler, the Master... Oh, that's actually kind of fun. Sorry. Every time they do a Wikipedia thing, they always start with the alien time traveler, the Doctor.
That's
David
right.
Tennant.
Play with David Tennant.
This time they start with... They got a bit creative this time, and they said... The alien time traveler, the Master, John Sim, uses a network of mobile phone satellites to hypnotize the world and influence the population of the United Kingdom into electing him Prime Minister. Following the election, he makes contact with an invading race he calls the Toclafane.
What?
Bum bum bum. Wowee. What?
Alright, is that it? Is that the synopsis done?
That's it. Sorry.
That's alright.
Was it not good enough?
No, that's okay. It's good. It's good. I love how you do that. I actually do. It's really good. All right, we're jumping into it.
Right? Yeah, fuck it. You go first. Like usual, you hog. You fucking hog. No, I like it because you walk us through the show, and I like chime in on it.
Fuck you. You literally always ask me. And I always feel bad about doing it first, but you do always ask me.
I'm just a polite boy. No,
Thanks,
you go
man.
first, champ.
Thank you, sir. Like I said, I watched this episode like 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to be honest. I was really excited to watch it. I didn't like it as much as I used to. I don't know why. It just didn't really sit very well with me. But I think...
Let's be real, Connor.
Hey?
It's a bit shit.
Okay, so you feel the same way?
I mean, there's good parts and bad parts that we'll get into, but upon the whole, especially for a Russell era finale, it's a bit shit.
Yeah, you know, I haven't watched it in years, which is why I was really excited to rewatch it. But yeah, I didn't love it that much. Especially the first part, I found it quite slow and boring for a final.
Really? I'm the opposite. I
Really?
thought the first part was like kind of good and
Really?
a few goofy bits here and there, but the
Well, I didn't
second
like the
part
second
is so
part much
fucking
either.
weird. It's
Yeah,
so,
that's even weirder.
It's like Mark Geddes wrote it. I love Geddes, but for a finale, no thanks. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the second part a bit more, but not by much. I like how you get to see they finally use like the vortex manipulator, which got them off Utopia. It's a cool little. It's cool to see how they got off the planet, which I thought was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
We then get to see the Master, who obviously is now the Prime Minister of Great Britain. I like how the whole time they were traveling, this was going on. I think that's kind of cool. It plays again with the time stuff well. I just think that the script is fucking cheesy as fuck, though. It's like this country needs healing. This country needs medicine. In fact, what this country really needs right now is a doctor.
Doctor.
And it's like this.
I
it's
love
like this whole
how
cheesy.
in the Utopia Next Time trailer they zoom in on his smile and
Literally.
they do like the ding.
Yeah, literally. It's like, oh, come on. And they... Look, I'm getting really sick. It's only in Russell's era when they do like the... I like the TV stuff, but they always zoom in so fucking close where it's just little pixels and it's starting to get really annoying. I like it, but yeah, it's just kind of... I think the whole thing is kind of dumb. I know he's hypnotic and I know he has, you know, fooled the whole country to vote for him, but I just think it's pretty dumb. The idea that he's even in Downing Street, the fact that he even got in, it's pretty fucking silly. He literally kills like 20 people in a room and no one asks questions. And I think we're led to believe that the reason why you shouldn't question it is because they're all hypnotized. It's like, what? That doesn't really make any sense. It's all a bit dumb. Like, even little stuff like, Tish getting the job and she doesn't even question it. It's like, what even is Tish's job? She was helping Lazarus randomly.
Yeah.
I don't know what she was doing before, and now suddenly she's in Parliament. It's like, what? Is no one... Again, it's like, is every single one of these plot holes just happen to be... It's because they were hypnotized. It's like, nah, surely not. I like the scene where they're in Martha's apartment until there's a fucking pipe bomb attached to Martha's TV.
And it's so obviously a prop as well.
Literally. Oh my god, it looks like it came off like a fucking western, like from the 70s. It's so
To be
weird.
fair though, the
So
scene
weird.
that follows with that, where they're doing like they go to the Martha's mum's house and stuff like that, and they got shot out, and the doctor's like, Martha, reverse. Martha,
Take
reverse.
aim.
Reverse.
Fire.
And the score's like, dun 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 dun.
Did you notice there's a hell weird,
dun,
like,
dun,
they do it in
dun,
Doctor Who
dun,
heaps,
dun,
like
dun.
when they cut to a shot where it's always in the car and it looks like a fucking potato. Filmed it.
It's like a GoPro 1.
Yeah, literally. It looks so shit and you're like, oh fuck's sake. And I don't know how
concept
no one got fucking killed. Like, the whole back window gets smashed in. Jack's like, I know Jackson more, but he doesn't even get shot. But I do like that scene. I do love how Martha's dad, like, fucking wrecks the whole plan by screaming down the phone. It's like, Dad, just say yes. He's like, yes! Run, Martha! Get out!
Run!
I love it so much. You did this! You voted Saxon! Oh, God, it's so funny. Makes me laugh so much. Yeah. The Master fucking kills people with gas. He gets away with it. there's a scene where they kind of explain like how some people don't get hypnotized. That's dumb as well. Again, all these people are getting killed down the street. No one notices. Like, she literally gets fucking slaughtered by like 3 Toglophane. Yet, again, no one finds out. I really do like. I think it's very jazzy that the email gets sent to Torchwood, and we get to see an amazing scene where Jack. Just right after another amazing scene where the Doctor's talking about Gallifrey, and we finally get to see it for the first time, which I thought was really cool. I remember as a young lad, awesome. I was like, "That's lit."
A lot of really effort into that. I know it's a bit of a segue, but
yeah, definitely.
A lot of an effort went into that, like visual effects wise, but also like, they obviously built new Time Lord uniforms and stuff, and they obviously went to a location and shot that stuff. It wasn't just like a cheap thing they did. They put a bit of effort into conveying that, which I think was quite good. And
the score comes back, Gallifrey, Our Child, Our Home, which, again, I said it last time, is one of my favourite pieces from Mario. I think it's beautiful. So good. And then we get the... It slaps. It goes so hard. It really does. I'm like fucking jamming my seat right now. We literally fucking suck, honestly. We love fucking film scores and TV scores. Most people don't even know what the fuck that is. Mate. You know the amount of times I say I like film and movie scores, someone's like, what does that mean? I'm like, the music's in the background of saying, so like, what, that? It means nothing. I'm like, yeah, maybe to you. I think my parents are going to walk in any second now because I don't think they know I'm recording, but either way, that's the common thing for the show. Yeah, the scene where Jack explains torture, the Doctor's like, nah, fuck you, you fucking suck. They were behind everything that ruined my life. And he's like, when I rebuild it, I did it in your honor. And I love that line. It's very true. I love how they do the whole TARDIS key thing. Again, it's never used again. I don't even know how it works, but apparently, again, there's so much stuff in this episode where you're just meant to think, oh, I guess that's what it is, like the whole TARDIS key thing is like, again, it's never used again. It never gets mentioned before. Either way, there's a hilarious thing because obviously I love John Sim as the Master. I'd watched him in Life on Mars before he played the Master, so to see him in something
love to watch
was really
that.
Cool. What, Life on Mars?
I really would love to watch it. Yeah, but it's not. It's never been available anywhere to stream or anything in Australia.
I know. I literally just checked then if the it's not really a spin-off show, but there's another show.
Ashes to Ashes,
Ashes to Ashes, which is pretty much as good. I wouldn't say it is better, but it's still really good. Well worth watching. It's literally got most of the cast from Life on Mars. It's got 3 characters from Life on Mars. But yeah, I loved him in that. So to see him in this, like he's so funny. Like, I love how like the whole of Martha's family was getting like dragged to the plane, and like the Master goes to like shake their hand, and he like quickly pulls it away and like does this. And I'm like, that's so funny. Like it was really
the thing
really
is
good.
These episodes, you're right, they're so cheesy. And one of my main flaws, especially with the second part, is it plays on so many tropes, but not in a fun way. It just like rehashes every apocalyptic alien invasion story. It doesn't really add anything to it. But the thing that makes this 2-parter work is having John Sim as the Master.
Yes, I totally agree.
Without him, this would be like we said, it's a pretty shit for a finale. But like,
yeah, I'm so surprised you agree.
Without
with me.
him in that role, it'd be so much worse.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's interesting you agree with me, because I thought maybe I was just like, maybe I watched it on like a bad day. Cause it's like, I remember really liking it before, but we get to see the Valiant, which is cool. I think it comes back again in
before Avengers copied it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, the Valiant. I think the Valiant's in it's definitely in Sontar's strategy, and I think it is shown again in Journey's Journey's End and stuff and Stolen Earth.
Yeah, in the from memory, in the Stolen Earth, you see it getting fucked up by some Daleks.
Nah, I love that. The variant's cool. It looks very bad. I'm not trying to knock the CG because I know that it was a long time ago, but it does look very fucking shit. But I know someone spent a lot of time working on it, and they probably won't give them much of a budget, so I'm not gonna diss it.
Yeah.
Fucking the US president and it I don't get it. Again, like there's such weird.
Yeah.
Hi,
Oh,
hi
God.
Jane, how you
It's not
going?
like my mum talking.
Literally, my mom's about to come in as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
See ya.
Don't you have to put your poster back up on the wall, Owen?
Yeah, I will.
I wouldn't be surprised if my fucking mum comes in a second. Yeah, I don't know. Did you find it weird that like the Master's just like he suddenly is just prime minister, sorry, and then he's like, all right, there's this new alien species. I'm gonna introduce him to Earth. Tough shit if you don't like it. And then suddenly everyone's like, okay, cool. And it's like, what?
Yeah, no worries.
What? And again, is it because they're hypnotized? It just seems like everything is happening. Like there's so many things that you're just meant to be like, oh, okay, I guess so. The president gets fucking murdered, and it's like, and again, this like we're meant to really like be like intrigued. Sorry, bloody hell. We're meant to be really intrigued in like the villains in like the final. Like the Togglefin, they fucking suck. They've got no development. They don't even have names. They don't even have like individual names. Like they're just such boring villains. And like it's cool to find out that in the next part, obviously, he could only go to the year trillion or current day Earth. And I like how the Master used that to his plan. I thought that was really smart. And he used all the people to do the Togglefin. That's kind of clever, but like. Again, they're just such boring villains, they're
pretty shit.
So boring, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that does work with them, I think, is the twist.
Yeah, the twist is cool. The twist is cool. I like the twist. Now, one of the worst things, in fact, I think the worst thing in this episode, and not any, I don't even mean just this episode. I mean the whole season. I actually fucking hate the. I think it's cool that the whole Lazarus thing came back, and it's cool to think that, but I fucking hate the old Doctor. I think it's so dumb, and it gets so much worse in the second part when it becomes this like CGI Doctor, and it looks fucking
so
awful. Bad. It looks terrible. It really looks fucking bad. Look,
it is so shit.
The makeup for him being old is really good. But it doesn't excuse the fact that it's so fucking dumb.
I agree. I was surprised by those cosmetics.
And yeah, of course we get here come the drums. Here come the drums. Here come the drums. Baby, baby, baby.
Baby, baby.
Oh god! And it's like I love how like they try and like make it look like people all around the world are watching the transmission. They have like they obviously are just trying to make it look like. There's a scene in America, and it's just like jocks wearing like those like American like football jackets, and it's so obvious. It's just some fucking Brit wearing like, and the Togglefin comes smashing through the window, and it's like this awful zoom in on someone screaming, and he moves 1/10 of the population.
So bad.
And again, Martha uses the vortex manipulator and lands on Earth. And it just looks bad, and at this point in the episode, I thought I'd be really excited for the second part, but I wasn't. But you take it away, Aiden, you talk about the episode. I'm ranting on like an old woman, like an old doctor, you might say.
Okay, so, sound of the drums, right? That's the first part, yeah? I think? Yeah?
Yes, last time is the last part.
Yeah, gotcha. So, yeah, look, like I said, I preferred it over the second part, mainly I think because it's a bit more grounded. And I am a sucker. I do like for those sort of scenes when it's like everyone turns against someone, like the government turning against like the Doctor and them getting chased down and shit like that. I think it's cool. Like I always kind of love that in like a Spider-Man movie or something where the cops turn on Spider-Man, or I'm trying to think of an idea of a example right now, but I can't.
Yeah,
but I do kind of love those things where kind of dig that shit, and this episode obviously played on that a lot. I think there's some. I think the first part has some really interesting stuff going for it. Again, some really good character moments. But you can also just see these seeds being planted for things, especially in the last 5 minutes, where you're like, oh no, this might go a bit shit in part 2. You see the doctor when he's like, oh, and he's getting fucking changed into the older version of the doctor. All I could think of when watching that was, obviously it's like a fast forwarded clip or something with like a different frame rate or something to pull off that effect.
Right.
But David must have had to like just move around in the chair like that for like a minute or so for them to do that effect.
I'd love to see how they filmed that.
I'd love to see that. Just like normal footage of that. I'd love to see it.
That's hilarious. Honestly.
Yeah, some cool scenes. I do like the car chase scene. You're right. Someone probably should have got shot or something, but I think it was cool.
And it's like, fuck it, I love it.
Fuck it. Yeah, to be honest, it is one of those things where I'm like, fuck it. It's Doctor Who versus the police. It's good shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I dig that kind of stuff. I think it does drag in parts in the second half. But the TARDIS key thing, it's cool. It works. Kind of dumb that it works when it probably could have been used in the past before, and also could be used in the future. So it's just kind of like a dumb loophole that they did for the sake of this episode that they never really came back to. So that's a little bit silly. Like we said, John Sim, he's the fucking GOAT. Everyone is actually on point here. Someone that I really liked actually as well was Lucy. I really believed her, the Master's wife.
Yeah, it's cool how, like, she's obviously... What I like the most about her character is that, like, she is obviously, like, someone that he's chosen, and she's like a victim. She's almost like a slave to him, and she doesn't know it because of the hypnotic part of it.
Yeah. Especially in part 2, that shit gets a bit dark. I've never picked up on this as a kid, but now as a grown man watching it for the first time in a while, she comes out with like bruises on her face and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, do you not pick up on that?
No.
Yeah, she's like got some marks on her face for the entire second part.
What?
Yeah, I think it gets covered up with makeup later on or something, but I know definitely at the start of part 2. At the start of part 2, it's very noticeable, and I was kind of like, kudos for them doing that. To be honest.
Fair enough. I'll Google when you talk.
Yeah,
while you talk.
Unless something happens in part 1 where she gets like hit by a toclophane or something, I don't know. But I read into it as it being, the Master fucking yeeted her in the face or something, which is
the Master's abusing. Yeah,
obviously pretty tragic.
That is dark.
It is. I like the scene when they become like public enemy number 1, and the doctor's phone call with the doctor just before that. Sorry, did I say the doctor's phone call with the doctor? I meant the doctor's phone call with the Master just before that. Where they're talking about Gallifrey. The doctor's talking about what he saw there and things like that. And then I kind of like how this season, to be honest, there's a lot of arc this season, a lot of character arc this season, which I enjoyed. But I also love that it's been a season where the Doctor comes to terms with what happened in Gallifrey, Like, season 1, he was very like, that shit fucked me up. Season 2, I think, was maybe all about distraction and steering away from that kind of thing. And then season 3 has been very like, it's all kind of come back to him a little bit with the Master's return. And, we kind of see it in Gridlock when he opens up to Martha that, maybe he's started to mature, maybe not mature, but he's started to move on from that tragedy and that loss.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And I think season 3 has just been all of that stuff sort of coming back, and him having to sort of face a few of those grievances, I guess, which I've enjoyed, and I think part 1 pulls that stuff off really greatly. Like we said, that incredible flashback's really good. The only thing with that scene, right? The flashback stuff's great, but when the Doctor's telling that story, right? I don't know how much you picked up on this. As a kid, I always thought that scene was like green screened when they're in the warehouse because the back looked weird. And I now understand what that is, why that is. Because I was looking at it the other day when I was watching it, and I was like, this scene looks fucking weird, you know? It's the Doctor, Martha, Jack sat around the fire in the warehouse or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And so the background is very blue, right? And I remember watching Confidential, and they were like, yeah, we're putting a bunch of like redheads up in the windows to shine light through all of the windows. It was like a really big set they had for it. And I was like, fuck, so it wasn't green screened. So I went in and I watched it the other day and was like, this still looks fucking weird. Why does it look weird? And I realized what the issue is like, they've done a cool thing that is very popular with film these days. It's quite a big Roger Deakins trope, actually, to blend a lot of colors. So like have the background a different color than the foreground, which is really cool when done right. And a lot of that will have to do with having like a motivated light on the character's face. For example, there's a scene in Sicario where like the background is like maybe a teal, yellow, barry color, but Emily Blunt is sat there at the bar and there's like blue lights coming off the bar, and so she's all in blue. But it works because it's motivated lighting. So in this scene, what they did was they made the motivated lighting the fire, and they made the background blue because of like moonlight or whatever. But what they fucked up was that the motivated lighting of the fire doesn't. I'm sure that maybe they did have a light coming from that area, but there's also warm lights coming from up above. So like you can see it reflecting on the top of their heads, like a golden glow from the light, which obviously that's what kind of ruins the effect because there shouldn't be any warm light up there. This is just like a small, I guess, like a goof of the week. Let's play one note of goof of the week.
Hey-o.
Yeah, maybe I went into a little bit too much detail on that, but it was just something that I spotted, and I was like, man, kudos for trying that. That was really cool, but you kind of fucked it up. And for me, it's always been really jarring, that scene, because of that. But it's easy to get sucked back into that scene because the performances are that damn good. And then the cliffhanger was quite good, other than the old Doctor. It's not too bad in this part because he's still David Tennant. He's not CGI. And everything getting fucked is like kind of sick, and I kind of like that shit. And when Martha has to like teleport down to Earth and she looks and everything's fucked up, it's like, oh shit. Like, because this is the first time they kind of do like a whole kind of the world is fucked story, you know? Because previously, Parting the Ways is in space, and then in Doomsday and stuff, it's like, sure, the Cybermen walk around on the Taj Mahal and shit like that, but you only really see that shit happen in London, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is sort of the first time where it's like, it did feel a bit more like the world is fucked, and especially because they made it like a year-long apocalypse, I think that kind of helped it. But yeah, upon the whole, I know I rambled there a lot specifically about that lighting thing. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of research into lighting and stuff recently, and it just pissed me off. But yeah, upon the whole, Sound of Drums, pretty good. Could be better.
More like Sound of Bums.
Sound of bum, baby.
That was pretty good. Yeah, interesting.
Sure was.
I really want to tell you about this thing.
Go on then.
I can't describe it, and I don't know what is wrong with it on Stan, but I noticed as well it was on Netflix. I haven't heard anything about edited down versions of episodes. I mean, I know there's this joke on TARDIS posting about how, maybe it's not a joke, but there was a joke on TARDIS posting a while ago where like they said that sometimes on Netflix they cut out a few things. Do you know if that's true or not? Because I think it was just a joke, but it might be true.
No, I know that stuff has happened before. Sometimes it can be due to rights. Quite often on shows in particular, I don't know if you know the sort of Scrubs controversy, but like if you watch Scrubs on a streaming service, there's a big chance that 50% of the songs used in Scrubs are replaced with different songs because the rights at the time, obviously they didn't know that streaming services were going to be a thing, so they kind of had like a 10-year contract or whatever to use the songs in the episode. but now because of because of streaming services, those shows now have a longer shelf life, kind of. And sometimes it'll just be too expensive to get the rights to those songs now.
Right, well, that explains one of them. But there's two others that I know, because, like I said, I used to watch it on DVD, so I know the scenes. Now,
Yeah.
one of them feels like... I'll have to, tonight, when we're done, I'll send it to you on Facebook. Like, I'll send you a video of it. It's so weird. It almost feels like... I don't know how to describe it. But the scene between Martha and Tom Milligan being stopped by the Toglafine and he shows his ID... and the scene where everyone breaks free and tries to get the screwdriver to the doctor so he can shoot the master.
Yeah.
Between that, so you know the scene where Jack is pulling on the chains to break free? Mm-hmm. It's like there's this cut that is so clearly not right. It cuts between the scene with Martha and Tom and the Toglafine, and like the scene ends, but it's so abrupt and it cuts instantly to when the chains break with Jack, and then the rest of the scene follows through.
So like
I know because I've watched it.
It skips the whole three finger thing. Is that what you're saying? When they
That's in it.
yeah.
But
So like
it just yeah.
Wait, you said that? Sorry, do you mean that's in it? Like that's actually in the episode that you watched?
Yeah, that is in it.
Yeah.
But it cuts between. It's a shame. I'm a bit stupid. I was gonna send it to you before we started recording, but I will send it to you after. It just cuts instantly to that scene, and you can just tell something isn't right. I don't know what it is, but it was on the same. It was the same on the Netflix when Doctor Who was on Netflix. It used to be on there. Now it's just on the stand. Two other things that aren't in the episode. One is that song you were singing with the I can't decide whether you should live or die. Yeah,
Scissor Sisters.
That's cut out. Now you probably explained that by saying about the rights.
Well, did they replace it with a different song?
No, the entire scene's not in there.
That's so bizarre.
And another scene that's not in there, this is only the ones I picked up on, but another scene that's not in there is the scene where at the end, Martha runs up to I think she's a doctor, the doctor who ratted Martha out, and gives her the flowers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And she says, look, I forgive you, even though she has no idea who Martha is because they turned back time a year.
Yeah.
That scene's not in there either.
Weird.
I only know because I've watched it on DVD. That scene's cut, the song scene is cut, and there's that weird edit. I don't know what it is, but this is the only episode I've noticed where it's not in there. I thought I was going crazy because I was like, I guarantee you, like, I mean, it's like, I remember there being a scene like this and that, like, ages ago when I rewatched it. I was like, I remember there being a scene like this.
Interesting.
It truly is bizarre. About the episode, though, I think it's cool how it's been a year. They don't really play with time much in Doctor Who, despite it being a time travel show. They don't really do that kind of thing.
Yeah, mainly in the Russell era, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They haven't really been like struggling to have like a threat for like a long time. Obviously, Matt's last episode on Trenzalore like takes it to the extreme, but
yeah,
this is pretty cool. It's cool how she's been traveling the world. It's kind of like a bit of a ruse. She wants the Master to think that she's trying to get the injections that can kill a Time Lord. By the way, I think that's really cool. And I like how Unit and stuff. Unit decided that they were like gonna do this because it's like it makes sense because like, you know, the Doctor could become a threat one day. Doesn't Martha say she broke into an old Torchwood base?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been like Canary Wharf. You never know. But yeah, it's kind of cool. It just, I don't know. I just didn't really mess with it really well. I didn't like it that much. Like I think it was just a bit boring, a bit dull, and I don't know. Something just didn't feel right about it. And yeah, and there's that whole scene with like where the Doctor gets the sonic screwdriver after everyone like kind of teams together. That's cool. And I think it's interesting that there's quite a bit of violence in it because the Master like fucking bitch slaps the Doctor and he goes flying.
That was funny. I laughed.
It's it's crazy. But then like he does the transmission where he turns the Doctor into a smaller alien bug, pretty much, and it honestly it looks awful. I hate it. I really do. And one thing that doesn't make sense is that when he gets all small, his clothes obviously are too big for him. Yet the miniature version of him is wearing like clothes.
I noticed that as well.
Which is similar. Yeah, it's weird.
So dumb.
It's like the kind of same pattern as his like trousers, and I'm like, what? But they didn't get smaller with him. There's like a whole. Do you just see his clothes? You see his clothes on the floor. Yeah, silly. I like the reveal that the Toglafine is the one from Utopia. It was quite disturbing, and I love the design where like there's no mouth. It's just the eyes. And I was like, damn! Like I remember watching that years ago and being like, that's some fucking creepy shit. And it's they have the same memory, and it's like, oh, sweet Martha Jones, you helped us fly. I'm like, fuck, that's good. That's good. I like this.
It's good, but all I could think was, what a fucking coincidence that the one Toglafane that they caught happened to be the one person that they spoke to on Utopia, you know?
That's the thing that I thought that as well, but didn't he say they have all their memories logged together? I think that's what he says.
Oh, do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but but I totally agree. I love that. All the fucking Toglafine in the whole world, and it happens to be that one person. I think he says that all their memories are lodged as one. I might be wrong. Who fucking knows? To be honest with you, I don't fucking care anymore. This episode kind of sucks.
What do you think of Jesus Doctor?
Oh god.
Yep, that happened. That's a thing.
God's sake. Yeah, it's such a weird episode. It feels completely different to the season, I think. That's what I didn't like about it. It felt completely different to the season. It just didn't feel like Doctor Who to me.
It feels
and it
like
just felt off.
Fan fiction-y almost.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this would be cool if we got the Master doing this and this happens.
That'd be fucking sick, you know? We'll do it like it's the apocalypse, it's the end of the world, they're all fucking dying. Martha's got to save the
Jack's
Doctor.
There.
You know, yeah, Jack's there. Martha's family's being fucked up, which was kind of cool, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but there's
That's
like a
interesting.
gun that's going to kill them all. There's
Interesting
these fucking flying balls and shit. We're going to play some cool music. And we're going to make the Doctor completely rip off the last scene of Return of the Jedi when he burns the Master's body. Sound fucking good? Yeah, capiche.
Yeah, that really is the rip-off of it.
So dumb. It's so fucking obvious. I don't know if it was like
really
Russell
is.
being like, intertextuality, right? It's, I'm just throwing a reference to Return of the Jedi. Or whether he just
like,
blatantly
no,
ripped it off.
Literally. It was just dull and boring. Like I love how the Master thinks it's the syringed gun, and she brings Martha back onto the Valiant. And it annoys me. Like it's not even written in the script that Martha's family are excited to see her, or Jack, or the Doctor. Everyone just looks at her like she just left the room like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's been a year. Could you imagine not seeing your family for a year? You would have an expression on your face. There's literally there's no dialogue at all. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I kind of hate the reveal. It's like, I went around the world. It's so dumb. It's like, how does that work? Like, I went around the world. It's like, you thought that the syringe was the thing, and he's like, well, I destroyed it. You're gonna die. Everyone's gonna die, and the Doctor's in a cage, and it's like, this looks awful. And then she's like, I went around the world, and I told them at this exact time to all say one name. It's like, first of all, what about all the countries that don't fucking speak English, for one? Like, Doctor is not the same word around the whole world.
Yeah.
So that throws a bit of a spanner in the mix. And then the Doctor's like, I've had a whole year to put my name. It's like, what? How did you do that exactly? He's like, I had a whole year to put my name.
Convenient.
It's like something to do with the satellites.
Okay.
And he's like, no, you can't do this.
It's so weird though.
No, stop it.
As a kid, I always watched that scene and was like, oh, I didn't put it together that it was the satellites. I always just thought that like they were just saying his name, and it was just a thing that he could do that if they all said his name. And I was like,
Theory,
that's
well, it kind of
fucking
feels
dumb.
like that.
And you know what? I watched it this time, and I was like, oh, I get it now. That's fucking dumb. Like, I had the exact same reaction.
Yeah, it really is. And the Doctor just forgives him instantly. I'm like, Doctor, you simp. Can you just, like, be angry at him for once? I know he's, like, the only person left from Gallifrey, but still.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot by Lucy, which I think's a fitting end. Because, like,
Amazing.
obviously, the link breaks.
Probably, I think the best thing that happens in that whole episode, I think that's really fucking good. good twist, and David's performance is really good. I know you're saying like him maybe forgiving him is a bit much, but once again, I also feel like given sort of the theme, his journey of like acceptance in this season, the biggest challenge and conflict of that is that he's now found someone that is a survivor of Gallifrey, but it's the Master and he's against him. And I think that, you know, one of those last scenes there where he's like crying with the Master in his hands, I think is the culmination of that. And he's like,
yeah, that scene is really good. Yeah, that's brilliant. Dude, literally, like, yeah, the score, both John and David. Yeah, the fact that Lucy does it again, I think, is really cool. When it it's like the link breaks and she's like, "Fuck, this guy was literally like keeping me like captive."
Yeah.
Russell throws in a line where it's like, "Always the women." I'm like, for fuck's sake, like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gets ripped off Return of the Jedi, and I do like how the last scene. I do like how Martha's a bit like, you know, fuck you, Doc, I'm out.
Yeah,
like,
fuck you, asshole.
Literally, and yeah, she's like, I'm getting out. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You deserve it, because you deserve to get out, because he honestly didn't treat you nicely at all. He doesn't seem like sad about it at all. He's just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
When's Rose coming back? And, oh yeah, the Face of Bo scene, which I've always liked. I know people have a problem with it, but I think it's kind of fun.
You know,
it's
my fan theory.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's a bit silly, isn't it? But I feel like it was just thrown in there.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I love the scene. I love the scene in the context that I provided, that like it's just a nickname for him, because the Face of Bo is already a thing, and that he isn't actually the Face of Bo. But if I think about it as in he actually becomes the Face of Bo, I fucking hate it. So
I believe it.
This bullshit. It's so dumb. How does he become this weird fucking tentacle thing?
Because
of course you like it. You love the fucking Dalek testicles, you horny bastard.
Okay, fair enough.
I
don't like them. I just said it looks like a dick, and it does. I don't know why everyone's... You know, no one fucking ever sides at me on that. And I'm like, come on! It does!
If that's what you think a dick looks like, you have some serious issues, mate.
I have a penis, Aiden. I nearly fucking choked then.
I was having a sip of my drink at the time, and then...
I'm gonna cut that for my podcast and use that as a button on the show. That's pretty funny. No, I hear me out, because I think that if you can't die, eventually, like he says, he's like, I'm getting a bit older, and so I like how they address that, because like obviously John Barrowman is gonna get older in the show, and it's like if they ever want to bring him back, people will be like, well, if he can't die, why is he getting older? So I think he slowly gets older and older and older, and as time goes on, his own like biology doesn't know what to do, and he starts to, I don't know, become a massive head.
All I'm saying is, if in Revolution of the Daleks, Jack takes off his shirt and he's like, "Doctor, I need you to analyze something," and he's starting to get these little tentacles growing out of him, I'll be fucking concerned. All right. Do you have any thoughts?
Imagine if.
Oh, fuck, no, go on, say your piece.
No, I guarantee you, like, Chibnall loves to fucking change everything that anyone's ever done. What's the fucking bet that it gets reversed and Jack dies? He's like, I can die now, yay! Isn't there? There's someone else. What's his name? Rex from Miracle Day.
Yeah,
he can't die either. He's immortal too.
There's also there's me from season 9.
Yeah. See, you know, it's like, Jack, you're not special anymore. Maybe they're all the Face of Bo.
I did love in that scene in series 9 when the Doctor references Jack. When he's talking to Ashilda. I always thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, well, it was a writer who'd done some Torchwood episodes. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd written a few. There's Carol or like Caroline or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, she'd written a few episodes of Torchwood, so makes sense. No, that was the first callback for fucking years.
It was, and so I always enjoyed that. Do you have any last thoughts on the last of the Time Lords before I jump in?
Not really. It kind of blows, both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's so shit. How dumb is like the fucking giant master fucking
God.
statue? It's so shit.
Literally, I Snapchat it. I'm like, how the hell did that even get built? The topography in a big fucking spheres.
And all the rockets
make
is
sense.
dumb. I'm just spitballing ideas. I told Connor before the show I'm so unprepared for this program just because uni has absolutely fucked me up.
It's given Aiden a reach around.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just throwing out thoughts. The scene with the Doctor and the Master when they teleport to that rock thing was like kind of cool, but it was also like it was shot in like this, I don't know, they put like some apocalyptic filter on it where everything was like overexposed. Felt like I was watching season 1 and 2 all over again, which was fucking trash. I don't know. It just felt, like I said before, it just felt like they were trying to play on like that apocalyptic end of the world trope. And it wasn't very good because they didn't add anything to it. It was, what was really fucking dumb? The Master comes to the street, right? And they're like, fucking hide her! All they do is put a blanket on her. Surely they'd be like, oh, put her up in the attic, behind the
No,
pillar
they just have a
or
coat
something.
on her. It'll be fine.
Literally, as soon as the Master would open that door, he'd be like, oh, there's a blanket there. Looks like you're hiding somebody.
How gets the score though?
Yeah, sure. The score is very good this whole episode. It's Murray. When is it not?
Yeah, what do you expect?
And then like she comes out and I don't know. I kind of like what he was going for with Martha's character, how she's standing up for herself and shit. But it just felt like it was done so cheesily, Yeah. What else is there? Yeah, Tom Mulligan. He's kind of cool, I guess.
Do you know that's who Martha ends up with, because she mentions him in Sometime Stratagem. She's like, that's who she gets engaged to. Hang on a minute, that means they break up because she ends up with Mickey.
She does end up with Mickey.
What? That means that's really sad. That means they get engaged and then fucking break up.
Tragedy. Russell just changed his mind, I think.
Literally.
But no, he probably got to the end of the time and was like, wow, I really fucked over Mickey. Martha and Mickey, yeah, they can go together, sure.
He deserves someone good.
Yeah, he deserves. To be fair, it's kind of perfect. They both got fucked over big time by the Doctor, so kind of perfect. All I'm saying.
Thanks, Russell.
Thanks, Russell. You did a good job there, bro. You did a good job most of the time, just not this fucking week. All right. What else? What was I going to say? Okay, so I got half an hour into the episode, and I always remembered as a kid when the Doctor becomes Jesus, it's like it's the final act, right? It's like the crazy climax. So it like happened, and then I was like, hold on, and I was like, I feel like I've not been watching this for very long, and I checked, and it was like 28 minutes into like a 56-minute episode. I was like, what the fuck? Why is the climax halfway through the episode? And the resolution is so long. There is like, look, I understand there was a lot to wrap up. It was a big finale, but they should have just like not rushed through all that apocalyptic stuff, and maybe part of why it's kind of shit is because they rushed it over, and the only things they showed was like the tropes. They never really fleshed out this apocalyptic world.
Right.
In saying that, I don't know that I would have wanted any more of Old Doctor. That was definitely more than enough. Thank you very much. So I think it would be like they should have just had more scenes of that, or alternatively, there was also a few scenes that I think could have got cut. Like Tom Mulligan, he was a cool character. He was there. Didn't really need to know what happened to him in the real world. Same with when she gives the flowers to the mom, to the doctor girl. That stuff to me was just like, okay, cool, but you have a 20-minute resolution. You could have just cut this out,
I can't comment on it because I never saw it. So dumb.
Oh, sorry, Connor. I forgot to say, I actually had some. I did a bit of research on that whilst you were talking. Basically, so when this episode went over to the US, it was the only episode other than a Christmas special so far that had been over the 45-minute mark. And obviously in the UK, they show like 45-minute shows and then they have ads. So it was cut down to 45 minutes to allow for the extra ad breaks and stuff like that.
I see.
So that's probably why those scenes got cut. It doesn't say in particular what scenes were cut, but it says it was cut down by like 5 minutes there, so that would probably explain it. And that's the version that was put online. So
Pharaoh.
that's a shame, but at the same time, maybe the resolution might have been a bit better and less drawn out for you because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's Martha's story, man. This episode, Martha's story, which is great. So we don't need... Honestly, I fucking hate to say it because I love David, but honestly, do we need to go back to the Valiant before Martha gets there? It's cool to show the Master, and you'd want to somehow incorporate the Master into the story so it's not like he doesn't get utilized. But like, all the scenes on the Valiant are just like dead-end scenes, you know? Like, they try and escape. They don't escape. We're back to where we started. You know, that stuff never like comes up to anything in the final act. It's just stuff that's there to be cool and to keep those characters involved and maybe to showcase how fucked up they got, which is great. But I also think, like, imagine like we spend 40 minutes with Martha living through this apocalyptic world. You really feel for her. It's her story. And then she gets to the Valiant, and when she finally gets back to the Valiant, that's such a triumphant moment. You know, us as a viewer, we've not seen the Valiant since part 1. It'll be such a huge moment for her to come back, and then we see the Doctor for the first time, maybe in chains or something. And then maybe Martha could do something that could kickstart... I'm just spitballing on the spot right now. Maybe Martha could do something, and then we can get the cool breakout sequence, and they all break out, and they all work together because of Martha. It's just like... It's corny, and there's so many things that just... They lead to dead-end scenes, and the episode just is longer than it needs to be. And is... Yeah... I just can't think of anything for this finale other than it's super fucking cheesy. You know?
It is. You know what? All I could think of, and I hate to say this, but all I could think of was, man, am I excited for that season 4 final.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's going to go hard. And I really hope I don't fucking... I don't know, because I really thought I'd like this one. And I just didn't.
Such a shame, man.
I really hope...
I just put my score into the system I have of scoring just then, and it's just such a shame to just be looking at how strong this season has been from my scores, to then add this one at the end and being one of the lowest scores I'm giving for the season.
Yeah.
Thematically, it's I think great. But that's what sucks. Thematically, it's great. It's the Doctor coming to terms with the Gallifrey stuff, like I said, and it's Martha standing her own ground, which is great. For both of their arcs, it's an incredible story, but it's executed in the most cheesy, corny way, and it just fucks me off the wrong way, you know?
Totally agree.
Yeah. But hey, that's Doctor Who. You win some, you lose some. You can't go more than 5 episodes of good episodes straight.
I think the biggest streak in the show's history, even just like, I think I said this before, even like rating wise, like if we're talking about actual ratings, I don't mean viewing figures, I mean like actually from critics and fans.
Yeah.
And I would agree with this. The biggest streak is from Science in the Library to Journey's End.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
That's what, 5 episodes?
Yeah. 6.
No, sorry, because it turned left as well, so that's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, those, damn, see, that's a big streak. Like,
Damn,
from
son.
Science Library onwards, it's like historical from a rating standpoint, from critics, that's the peak of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's from Science and Library to Journey's End.
100%.
And I agree, because they're bangers, one after another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You also you didn't mention the fucking Titanic.
Oh my
And
god.
it breaks in. It looks like for some reason it's black. I don't know why they didn't just composite a sky in the background behind the Titanic.
It's so weird.
It's bizarre.
You gotta tell me this. When you were a kid, did you think it was the actual Titanic?
Yeah, and it so is, by the way. Like it just it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's just
Everyone
like
did. It was so bad when you found out it wasn't. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, but to be fair, I do love Voyage of the Damned, and I'm so fucking excited to watch it.
I rewatched it like beginning of this year. Maybe not beginning, but early this year. Which is annoying because now I have to fucking. Now I've obviously watched it this year, but yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think yeah, but I think it's dumb. I think it was a cool cliffhanger for like when I was like young and liked stuff like that. But yeah, I thought the episode was gonna be the Doctor on the Titanic as it's sinking.
Yeah.
But no. It has to be in fucking space. Yeah, it is dumb.
Works for the story. It's just the way that they allude to it is like clickbait, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I do love whenever Crispy Pro, our favourite Aussie YouTuber. I don't know why I'm putting an Australian accent on when I live in Australia. Mate. I don't need to fucking do that. G'day, Crispy. I love how whenever he talks about the next Doctor, he's like, it's literally called The Next Doctor. No wonder it's the most fucking viewed episode. It's fucking clickbait Doctor Who. Like,
yeah.
I think that's
also
funny.
it was also just when David Tennant was announced to leave.
Yeah, exactly. So the timing there was fucking perfect from a marketing standpoint.
Even I thought it was somehow gonna
same
connect into it somehow because I was dumb and ridiculous.
It's a shame that as an adult, that stuff gets ruined, especially like when you start to sort of learn things. Like obviously, we know a bit more about how production works, and it's not like that. And obviously, we see a bit more behind the scenes stuff as well. So we see that they're filming like Waters of Mars and End of Time with David or whatever. So those kind of reveals aren't as exciting. I do miss as a kid when you're so out of the loop that when like Chris Eccleston regenerates, I was like, oh my god, he's regenerating. Like I hadn't heard anything of it, but yeah, it was announced in the newspapers and shit like that. But
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
like, I didn't know who he was regenerating into. I knew he was regenerating, but I didn't know who. And could you imagine nowadays that happening?
Honestly,
you couldn't avoid it.
I do really hate that. For the Revolution of the Daleks special, if you don't know, this is a fact out there. So if you don't know, spoilers if you really care, but it is out there and it's a fact now by the BBC that Graham and Tosin are leaving in Revolution, and I hate that they filmed it, and it wasn't, it was fine. There was no leaks or anything.
It was just speculated that it was. Speculated. It wasn't confirmed.
And then the BBC just put out an article and they were like, Tosin and Graham talk about leaving in the finale. And there was never a reveal that they were leaving. This was like the type of article that would come out like a few weeks after the reveal article or something, for one. So it kind of sucks for them that they never got like a proper announcement that they're leaving. And two, I'm like, why like a few weeks before did you say that? Like, why not just let it happen?
Play out in the episode.
I know we're seeing footage now of just like Jodie and Yaz running around, which by the way I think is great and I can't wait for that. But like, there's always the possibility that in those scenes, Ryan and Graham could have been off doing another scene together or something, and especially to the general public, that stuff is way more secret. So I don't know why they didn't just keep that shit secret.
I'll never forget when you said in high school, or it might have been middle school, but either way, I remember you said to me that, I think it was for one season Doctor Who, it would have been like maybe 7 or 8, you said that you weren't going to watch any trailers for Doctor Who, remember that?
Did I?
Yeah,
that didn't last.
Because you were like, I just want to be, I want it to be like when I was a kid, and I get it. Yeah,
that's just what I fucking want. I think a lot about... I have 8 seasons planned in my head if I was to run the show, right? It's like a main 5-season arc, and then if I was like, oh, fuck it, you're paying me good, I have like a backup 3-season arc as well, right? But one of the big twists that I would fucking pull off, right, is in... So, this example, in this hypothetical world, there's a lady playing the Doc, and... she's in her like 5th season or something, whatever her last season is as the Doctor. It's 5 seasons in my mind. In the 2-part finale of the last season, there's like a secondary character that they run into on the planet, and they're just the usual sort of guest actor that's in for the finale, right? And then there's like the big fucking twist is like there's like a life or death situation, and then the secondary character is like, you need to go in and do this now, and she's like, but why? Like, I'm gonna die, or some dumb shit like that. And then he's like, I know you're gonna die because I'm the next incarnation of you or whatever. And then that shit's like, whoa, fuck. This is the next Doctor right here, and they kept it a secret all along. But then the thing that will keep the BBC happy is you got a nice big surprise there, and that's in the finale. And then you can still promote the Christmas special that like maybe that Doctor's still alive in, and then she regenerates at the end of the Christmas special in a similar way to Capaldi did or something. And you can have like a bit of fun. You can have that promotional stuff, and then also then promote the next Doctor as like a new era kind of thing. But they've also kept that nice surprise regeneration in there. You know what I mean?
You literally just spoiled it though, eh? And what if you actually get the job?
Ah, great. Well, if Doctor Who moves the production to Perth, then I'll be all over it.
You could have gone to England and they could have hired you.
Mate, I'd love that. I definitely...
Chances of it happening are quite slim.
Quite
but
slim.
It's possible.
As a kid, I was always like, I'd so move to the UK and work in film and stuff. But now I'm like, I'm all about getting the perf industry going. I want to be a big part of that. In saying that, if Who was like, hey, you want to write an episode? Then I'd be like, fucking yeah, boy. And I'd go to the UK for a few months and work on an episode or whatever. Sure.
Fuck yeah, I'd write an episode.
Yeah,
I feel like we've blown it already with this podcast where we rip into Doctor Who too much.
Yeah, we've fucking ruined it, haven't we? BBC, I'm sorry. I do love your show. I'm just, I've loved it since I was a kid, and I have some issues with it. I'm really sorry.
Chibnall's most famous interview is him, our age, saying the fucking show sucks.
Yeah, but I don't think there's an interview out of it. An interview of him saying like, "Oh, fucking David, right? Like, what the fuck?" Like I was like swearing into a mic, chatting shit, Oh man. Dude, we're going fucking over big time here. Shall we move into our segments?
The segments. Favourite segment of the week.
I totally forgot that we have segments. I was like, we're doing good for time. We'll wrap up just after an hour. And then I was like, wait a minute. We've got 2 big segments to go into.
How many do ratings?
How many do our rating? Connor, unless you have any final review thoughts on Last of the Time Lords?
It blows.
Yep. Confirmed. Same as me. Connor, it's time for Australia's favourite segment. It's Go for the Week! Bum, bum, bum. For the very last time this season, it's Goof of the Week. Bam! So, do you have any goofs of either of the 2 episodes this week, my friend?
No, I literally can't find goofs anymore. What is going on?
You're so shit.
Thank you. Do you?
I have one, which you can kind of maybe pass if you're trying to be flexible. Basically, when the Doctor starts talking to the Master and him and Martha and stuff, they go into the tunnel. It's like pissing down with rain, and when they come out the other end, it's like, it's not. You could say maybe it stopped raining when they were in the tunnel, but it didn't. I think it was definitely a fucking production error, because the tunnel ain't that big. So according to TARDIS Wiki, we're on the sound of drums right now. So when the Master first puts on his gas mask, it is the correct way up. It then cuts to a different shot where it is upside down. It then goes back to the first shot where it's the correct way up. How do we not notice this shit?
Oh, God.
When the Master stands up at the Valiant to announce that he is the Tockleflane's master, President Winters is visible in the background. Only the Tockleflane aren't there. In the next shot, they return, buzzing around Winter's head. Haha, silly. When the Master runs to the window to watch the spheres descend, he presses against the wall, which visibly bows out. Oh, does it? Ha! Like it's a set? That's funny.
God's sake.
That's classic.
How do you not catch any of these?
I don't know, man. We're just fucking dumb. How about that?
We suck.
We'd suck. Alright, now we're on to Last of the Time Lords production errors. When the Master attempts to use his laser screwdriver on the physically empowered Doctor, the laser light from the prop is reflecting off of the lens of the camera he is pointing it at, which tells you there is a camera. That's so dumb. That's like dumb to write. That's called a fucking lens flare, you idiot. Excuse me?
That's
What?
so funny.
The laser light from the prop is reflecting off of the lens of the camera he is pointing it at, which tells you there is a camera. Yes, no, but that's just how... That is fine. What is wrong? What is wrong with you, TARDIS Wiki? When the Master uses his laser screwdriver to aid the Doctor while he is in the fast motion, on the TV screen Martha is looking at, you can clearly see Lucy's arms are also in fast motion. That's funny.
God's sake. How are we missing these?
That's fucking hilarious, actually. I love that. I love that a lot. Oh, man. Another sip of whiskey, thanks.
Not enough whiskey for this episode.
No, you need a lot, don't you, to get through it. Alright, so that was... Go for the week! Okay. So, Connor, for the very last time this season, unless you're including our festive special, would you like to move on to Australia's second favourite segment?
I would love to.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Behind the Scenes! Amazing. Some of the car action sequences in the episode were filmed by Freema Agyeman herself rather than a stunt double and took place at Harbourview Road, Penrith. David Tennant's makeup, in which he is aged 100 years, was inspired by the first Doctor, William Hartnell. That's a bit mean.
Get it? Because he's old.
Oh, that's so dumb. The episode was advertised on BBC television as a spoof party political broadcast, featuring testimonials from British celebrities showing their support for Mr. Saxon, a version of which is seen in the episode itself. That's pretty interesting.
You get to see Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah.
Like, oh, vote Saxon. I vote Saxon. He could ring my bell any day. Interesting. Also, during the episode, Dums can be heard. There's also a different... No way. That's cool, by the way. We never talked about that. Da-da-da-dun. 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 I love that. There is also a different trailer that showed still shots of the Doctor, Martha, and Captain Jack, over the top of which of Mr. Saxon's speech, in which he says, "What this country really needs right now is a doctor." Can be heard at the end. There is a small clip of him showing his trademark smile, who has intent to kill the Doctor public. Yeah, that was a weird sentence. All right. Okay, let's move on to Last of the Time Lords. Ba-ba-da-bop-de-boo. Wow. So the episode was planned to be broadcast live to crowds attending Pride London in Trafalgar Square via a giant screen. However, a local curfew after a nearby attempted terrorist bombing the previous day prevented the screening. Freema Agyeman and John Barrowman attempted the event. Little interesting fact for you there, isn't it? That's a bit interesting. What the fuck?
In order to keep the episode's details a secret, access to preview reviews of the episode were restricted. There was a smaller moratorium on copies of Doomsday the previous year, and on the series' 4 finale, Journey's End, the following year. The episode was allocated a 50-minute time slot for its initial broadcast, as with Daleks in Manhattan previously, and 55-minute time slots for the BBC 3 repeats. According to Russell T Davies in Doctor Who magazine 384, this is because it ran over length, but they did not wish to lose the material. The final episode of The Trial of a Time Lord, which is a classic Who 14-part adventure, that's with Colin Baker, was also extended by 5 minutes in 1986. In the audio commentary, the producers reveal that Graham Harper filled in to direct scenes after director Colin Taugu was injured, which you mentioned in one of your quiz questions.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
At the start of the episode, the Master enters the Bridge of the Valiant as, "I can't decide whether you should live or die, but you probably go to heaven by the Scissor Sisters plays in the background. He refers to it as track 3. It's placed on the Scissor Sisters' second album, Ta-Da. Interesting.
Yes, Scissor Sisters. I knew that.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew they sung it.
Interesting.
I didn't hear it though, obviously.
This episode marked the last regular episode use of the Doctor Who theme music arranged by Murray Gold that had been introduced in 2005 and used thereafter. God, some of these sentences are so shit. The opening theme would be heard once more in its 2005 arrangement in the Time Crash short episode before both opening and closing themes would be revised, beginning with Voyage of the Damned and continuing into Series 4 in 2008. And I can't wait for that. That's such an epic version. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. Wow. That's good, isn't it?
Dun-dun-dun. Nah.
Good shit, cuz. That's about it. So a few fun, juicy facts in there. Some interesting stuff. That Trafalgar Square stuff was kind of interesting. And the stuff about, the time restraints and shit like that was quite interesting. It's always interesting to look at this.
You know, you mentioned how you mentioned Doomsday.
Yeah.
Isn't it just interesting that last season was Doomsday and then we got this? Doomsday just went so hard.
Yeah, but I was thinking recently, right? Doomsday, I think because I gave it a 9.5 or something really high. And I think it's got a strong script. I think there's some issues with it. But I don't think it should have gone that high just because I know when I rewatched it, it really got to me and I really fucked with it. But I've just not really thought about it much since. And then some of another Doctor Who podcast that I listened to, the Big Blue Lots podcast, they were saying that they both kind of hated it rewatching it, to be honest.
Really?
They made some points, some I agreed with, some I didn't, some I disagreed with, but the main thing for me was it's such a boring looking episode. And I was thinking back on it and I was like, fuck yeah. That is a really, really boring looking two-parter,
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Whatever. Anyways.
Do you know, no, I'll say that after we've done our ratings.
Okay. Last thing I wanted to say was, like usual, I'd like to draw a little bit of attention to the writer and director. Obviously, the writer, Russell T Davies, he gets so much credit because he is a great writer. Colin Teague, very bold putting him as the director of these 2 episodes, considering he's never directed for Doctor Who before. And to be honest, hadn't directed that much before. He directed some of Holby City and The Last Drop.
Holby City.
But
that's hilarious.
Before this, he hadn't really directed anything. So this, Doctor Who related. So these are his first 2 episodes in Doctor Who, and he does one more episode, The Fires of Pompeii, which is an episode as a kid I loved. I know that you don't like it that much, so I'll be interested to see it on rewatch.
Yes.
He directed 2 episodes of Torchwood before this, actually. Ghost Machine and Greek's Bearing Gift. In 2008, he directed Sleeper and Meat, which I think I remember all of those episodes, and I think I remember them actually all being pretty good.
Meat's a good episode.
Yeah.
And Sleeper rings a bell.
Sleeper, I remember being a pretty good one. And he directed, I'm pretty sure this is the very first episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures, Invasion of the Bane.
That is the first one.
Yeah, the first episode. He directed that, which is kind of cool. When did that come out? Because that might have been before as well. And in which case, that whole hurrah would have been a little... Yep,
I think it's
1st of January.
It's, after season 3.
No, it's before season 3, boss. Invasion of the Bane came out on the 1st of January. But I think it was a one-off that they did as a tester.
What? Invasion of the Bane?
Yeah. But I tell you fucking what, right? What a time, right? Because I remember last week when we were doing Utopia, I was reading up on Torchwood and the airing times to see how the Jack crossover stuff worked. And the finale of Torchwood came out on the 1st of January. Sorry, episodes 12 and 13 of Torchwood Season 1 came out on the 1st of January. Invasion of the Bane also came out on the 1st of January. You would have had the Runaway Bride a week before, What a fucking time when there was this much
Dude,
Doctor
that
Who
would
on
have been
TV.
crazy.
That's insane, man.
That's
fucking
insane.
crazy.
Fuck. I mean, imagine having that now.
I'd love it. But the thing is, like, the show's so not as kid friendly now. And I'd like Chibnall's era to stick the way it is, but I definitely in the future the next showrunner to maybe be a bit more of a family friendly showrunner, just so that we could maybe get a bit more of this expanded universe shit, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that Russell did so well, and I'll always say that.
He's so good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say about the direction of this episode from Colin Teague, or however you say it, because it doesn't stand out direction wise. It just kind of is what it is. And I, you know, there was a lot of kind of silly things in it, like the sped up version of the Doctor, shit like that. It is maybe kind of a bit of a silly directorial decision.
Right.
So I don't know how I feel about him as a director. I'll have to see more of his stuff to put a better judgment. Giving a first time Doctor Who direction the finale of a big season was maybe not the best decision. That certainly is
interesting.
Should have been left for someone like Euros Lynn or Graham Harper, who clearly know the show and can direct. And to be frank, I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, legit. Interesting.
Connor.
Yes.
What is your rating for The Sound of the Drums?
I can't believe I'm saying this because I really thought I was going to enjoy it so much more than I did. But I'm going to give it a 6.5. I think it's pretty boring. I really do. But what? We're the same.
We did the same. I'm also giving the 6.5 because it's pretty
that.
shit, but there's some good scenes. I love the thematics that it has in there of the Doctor and Martha's character arcs. Jack's always a great addition, although he's kind of not used too well. In part 2, the stuff with Martha's family is pretty fucking great, although it doesn't go anywhere. And Martha's farewell scene is pretty great. The second part is overly long, but the first part is kind of enjoyable and has some cool stereotypical things I like. But in the second part, the stereotypical things are used in a way that I don't like.
Interesting.
Could have just put up a podcast episode and made it a minute long and just said that.
Yeah, legit. I totally agree. I think it's got some cool moments in it. Score's great. I really do think it has some good moments in it that I mentioned. But yeah, again, this is my least favorite Russell final. The more I think of it, I don't know why I didn't think of that more, because like it really is quite bland and boring. I just think it looks really bland, and it is a bland
Doesn't bring
story.
anything new to the table. It's just a bunch of recycled things. It wraps up character arcs, which is great, but that's all it does good.
Plus, after having the Darks and Cybermen, which I know obviously already, like, you know, they're already characters that have had a lot of screen time, and you already know, and they're already developed, but like the Tokla theme, like, kind of fucking sucked. Like, they didn't have any development. You didn't care. They didn't really feel that scary.
Big time.
You don't see kids hiding around the corner for Tokla theme. Like, it's just, you know, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I did have a laser screwdriver. I got this toy pack that came with a laser screwdriver, a sonic screwdriver, and a toy Toclafane that you'd shoot the screwdrivers at. Which I guess
you said a few weeks ago. I
cool.
think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking silly, isn't it? Anyways, okay. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a little break. I'm gonna play the TARDIS dematerializing, and when we get back, you will hear from us our full ratings of the season. I'll be calculating in this break. I'm going to calculate all 11 stories. So that's the two-parters combined into one episode each. And then, so that's 10 episodes, and then adding the Runaway Bride in there as sort of the first episode of the season.
Okay.
So I'm going to combine all of those to give us our answer of our total ratings of the season. We'll be back shortly. Thank you very much.
God bless.
And we're back!
Phone. I was sitting on my bed. Hello.
Sorry, that took a little longer than I thought it would. I had to do a bit of research because I was missing one of Connor's scores, so I had to go and analyze the episode to find out the score, so it took like an extra 5 minutes to do it. And then I had to add up all the scores of the season because I forgot to do it.
I did say it was 9.
Man. What was that?
Sorry. Just chatting shit.
Okay, Connor, I'm gonna do something fun here, alright?
Okay.
You give me, if you were to rate season 3, just thinking about it right now,
Yes.
what would you rate it?
So, am I talking out of 10 or is it out of 100? What do we normally do?
Well, we don't normally do this, but because your official rating will be the adding up of all the episodes from The Runaway Bride up until Last of the Time Lords. So, but I just want to see how close you are.
I'd probably say
You know what I mean?
7.5.
7.5?
7.5. Yeah, probably 7.5.
You're pretty fucking close, mate. Your final score of season 3 is 74.54.
Look at that. I was pretty bang on.
You're pretty fucking accurate, mate. You rounded up, you're at 7.5, you know?
Thank you.
So that's pretty cool. I don't know why I wrote that as 74. I should have just written that as 7.45. Anyways, so for my score, I feel like I would have because the highs are so high in this season, I just seriously feel like this is like an 8 or an 8.5 of a season. But I've added up my scores, and just because fucking 42 is so bad and the Daleks of Manhattan's pretty shit, and a lot of the early episodes in the seasons are just kind of like 7.5-ish areas where they're good, but they're not great. And then there's the really shit ones, also kind of in the middle of the season. And then at the end, we have all these good ones that kind of balance out with the shit ones. So my one has ended up as 7.18. So I guess 7.2. Mine is 7.2. Yours is 7.5. Let's just say that.
Interesting.
So pretty close. And I think we agreed on a lot this season. We didn't have too many of the exact same scores, but we had a lot that were pretty close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. It's interesting. I hope next season is a bit higher because I know. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, though, isn't it? You did say, there are some duds this season, and I don't know.
It's such a shame. The duds really weighed this season down. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I feel like if they weren't in there, you're right. I didn't hate the two part of the Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks, but you're right. It wasn't great, and then obviously there's little things like 42, which weighed it down massively. That was the lowest rating we've given an episode, and it didn't help that the final was shit. Yeah, if the final was really good, if the final was the kind of ratings we've given Doomsday, it would have been pretty damn high.
Yeah, you'd not, wouldn't you?
So I reckon next season it's gonna be pretty damn high. I reckon it'll be 80s next season, 85s. I reckon I'm just calling it now.
Maybe it will be cool. There's some fucking bangers in there.
There certainly
some
is.
ones that I didn't like as a kid. For example, Planet of the Ood, I never really liked as a kid, but I hear a lot of people talking quite fondly of it these days. So maybe as a grown-up, I might like that one.
Yeah,
season 4 is another season. I feel like we're gonna start it and we're gonna wish we were doing 2 a week. Season 4, we are gonna go back to doing 1 a week just for our own sanity, but I will be open to doing a couple of bonus episodes every few weeks where we do 2 in a week, just as a fun little thing if time permits.
It's bonus round, baby!
It's bonus week, baby! Bum. Maybe that could be a thing. I don't know. Anyways, Connor, that wraps up season 3
before
for
we
us.
go, I do just want to say, and it's completely off topic, and I don't want to have a conversation about it really, but I have started to rewatch The In-Betweeners, and it's a fucking amazing show, and I missed how great that show is. That's all I want to say.
I'm glad it's a bang. I went through a lot of that with my family relatively recently. Not the whole show, but
so fucking
in
good.
one night we watched all of season 3 and then went on and watched the movies. It was the most weird experience of my life, and it was hilarious.
It's that show just reminds me of you so much. It'll always
I'm
remind
glad.
me of you.
Am I Simon?
Yeah, well, you always said you were, and that's why I kind of always think it, but I think not so much anymore, but back in the day, yes. You've definitely gotten better at things. But it just, that whole show just reminds me of you, and it's so nostalgic for me. I've missed the ride, and it's so fucking funny and clever.
It's hilarious, man.
The cast is so fucking great. I love it. It's so much fun.
So good.
I'm really glad I started rewatching it again, and yeah, God bless.
God bless them boys. I do hope that they do just one.
Yeah, surely
60 minutes. Just a reunion.
Surely.
Just a reunion special. That's all I want. Just because I think
did you watch the did you watch that reunion special? Did you watch that?
Nah.
Oh my
I was
so bad.
I think that's when I was in New York and I had a hard enough time watching fucking Resolution. I had to watch it like it took me like 2 hours to watch it because I had to watch it in like 10 minutes and then it would like shut off because I was having to pirate it because of I was in New York. I didn't have a way of watching it.
Should have just got a VPN.
If it helps, I have technically bought that twice before anyone yells at me because I bought the Blu-ray standalone and then I bought it in the season 12 box set.
You literally could have just got on a VPN and used like BBC America.
Yeah. Well, the annoying thing was, it was I saw that it was going to be on, and I checked the time for it, but because we were out, I'm in New York for 4 days of my entire life versus the potential of watching Resolution on any day. I decided to spend an extra hour exploring New York with my family rather than coming back for Resolution.
Hang on a minute.
I think you can understand that.
You were in New York. You could have just gone on the BBC America website.
No, BBC America doesn't have like an iView thing.
Oh, okay. No, okay, that makes sense. Well, actually, you could have VPN'd to Australia and watched it on ABC iView.
I don't have a VPN.
I do.
But I don't.
We're sponsored by
NordVPN. If NordVPN wants to sponsor this podcast, then go for it. Give me a free VPN. We'll promote it.
I'm a loyal owner of NordVPN. I've had a VPN for about it. My VPN is on right now as a recording.
Wow, you're a Norder. Didn't realize you were a Norder.
No Russians are listening to me talk right now.
That's a shame. I'd love some Russians to hear me talking.
Duh.
That's a weird statement. Voyage of the Dam next week, my man. Well, in a few days actually. Is this coming out on Monday? Then Christmas is in 5 days. So I don't know. I guess is Christmas Eve too late for us to put a podcast up? Would that be a shit day for it to go up, or do you think maybe Wednesday would be better?
Absolutely not.
No. All right, guys. Well, thanks so fucking much for joining us this week.
It's been an hour and a half, baby.
Hour and a half, baby. So this is Monday. This episode's coming out. So on Thursday, it's Christmas Eve. You're gonna get the first ever proper 50% Doctor Who podcast Christmas special. We've done 2 Christmas specials before, but they've been like not actually set at Christmas. It's just been us reviewing Christmas Invasion and The Runaway Bride. But Big Man Connor, I think we agreed, is going to come to my place. We're going to drink some whiskey eggnog. I can supply whiskey if you supply the eggnog. I don't know how that shit works.
Sure.
But
yeah, that's fine.
We'll talk about it. I've got some Jameson and some Canadian Club. So
that's
if you're happy with
what
that,
I needed. Perfect. Yeah, I'll bring the nog. And I can finally give you your present live on air. If everything goes to plan, I really am crossing my fingers because they're really pissing me off. But if all goes to plan, it should be ready for you to open on the show. And it connects to Doctor Who, like I said, so it makes sense for you opening it on the show.
I love it. I'm so excited for that, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a
cool.
great episode.
I told Mitchell while I'm getting you, and he was like, "That's a fucking great present." I'm like, "Thank you."
I'm keen.
It's a great idea, and I'm literally gonna do this, get the same for me in the new year.
So interesting. Like I'm intrigued. Like I don't usually get too excited for presents these days, but I'm pretty fucking keen for it. Like you give
I reckon you'll really fuck with it. I'm really excited to see what you do with it.
What I do with it?
Oh! Get excited,
like a
Aiden.
Multi-purpose thing?
Maybe it's a dildo, a Doctor Who dildo.
We can only hope. Put it that way.
I'd love that. Yeah.
I'm gonna down the rest of this whiskey.
Delicious eggnog. You only get 31 sweet noggy days.
I've never had eggnog in my life, so I have no idea how this whiskey
it's basically like custard.
Taste.
It's like drinking custard, pretty much.
I'm keen. We're gonna get festive.
Yeah, we will.
We're gonna play the festive theme for about 3 seconds as a teaser. Oh, did you feel it? You feeling Christmassy? Cool.
Kinda.
Awesome. My dad's fucking calling me. Unlucky. Okay, let's wrap things up, Connor. We've dragged on enough. Is this our longest episode? I know it's our longest recording, but there's a good like
Probably.
5-6 minutes there where we're gonna have to cut out.
Yeah, well, we stopped. Yeah. I'm keen to have a bowl of cereal and sit in my ass.
Yeah, I'm keen to fucking urinate, to be honest. Keen to urinate and have another glass of whiskey.
Oh, cool. God bless.
Love it. Connor,
Thank you. All right, you ready?
3 seasons in, mate. What a year. Thanks so much to
thank you,
everyone
Aiden.
for listening
Always a
throughout the year.
pleasure.
I know we've still got one more episode this year, and then the New Year's special early next year. But you know, it is the finale, so it does feel like a bit of an end of days, you know. So thanks so much
agree.
to everyone for listening.
Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, thanks, guys. God bless. Love you all.
Follow us on Twitter at 50Doctor. Connor, for the last time this season, would you like to lead us out in song?
I would love to, Aiden. Let's do it. Ready?
Ping and let's go.
And a 1, and a 2, and a skinny diddly doo.
It's
Aiden
and Connor's podcast. They're doing Doctor Who reviews. Doing Doctor Who reviews.